Hello everybody, another day, another ramble, and it's a pretty cold and foggy one at that. Now, what do I want to talk to you about today? Well, today's subject is one which is very close to my heart. It's one of which I have a considerable amount of personal experience, and it's one which affects millions of people around the world every second of every minute of every hour of every day. And the subject in question is mental health, mental well-being. Now, I know that encapsulates a wide range of themes and conditions, and we can't obviously get through all of those in one day's walking. So what I'm going to do, I want to focus on one in particular. Like I say, it's the one of which I have a great deal of personal experience, and that is depression. Now, depression is an illness which can affect absolutely anybody. It doesn't take any prisoners. And from a personal perspective, I began suffering with it in my mid to late 20s, and have since had bouts to varying degrees of longevity and severity. The worst period that I experienced was many years ago. I hasten to add that I feel fine now. I haven't had a bout for quite some time, and I'm enjoying life and moving forward, which is great. But quite a few years ago, I had an experience which quite literally changed my life, changed my perspective on many things. And I was living abroad in another place, and I got to the point where I got so low, I'd spiraled down so low that I didn't know if I had the strength to carry on. I sort of lost, I suppose, the rational thought processes, and I didn't want to carry on. I got to that point where, quite frankly, I came within seconds of taking my own life. Now, clearly, it was a very emotional moment, a very emotional period in my life. Thankfully, and as you can see because I'm talking to you now, that didn't happen. And I'm now in a place mentally, but also physically. I'm in a place that I love. I'm doing a job that I love. I'm surrounded by wonderful people in my life, people that I love as well. And I just want to illustrate to you that, if I can get back from that point, which seemingly is a point of no return, then so can you. It clearly wasn't a point of no return, because I did return. I got up. I fought. I dusted myself down, and here I am, living to tell the tale, and hopefully offering some words of support and motivation to those of you that need it. Now, do I think about that a lot? Yes, I do. It goes through my mind, and I'll be talking more about it in my upcoming book. I've also written about it on my blog, and I've done other broadcasts in the past. I'll put some links in the video description below if anybody wants to read or listen to anything that I've done before. But I really wanted to share my thoughts with you on this subject, because if you're going through something similar to what I went through, I want you to know that you're not alone. There are millions of us around the world who know how it feels. And let me tell you that you can overcome it. There isn't a one-size-fits-all strategy for getting better, but you can overcome it. And I certainly know, when I subsequently suffered from other bouts of depression, that as you get older and get more experienced, you start to recognize the signs, and you start to develop the mechanisms to stop you before you get to a point of going lower and lower and lower. What sort of points am I talking about, or what sort of methods am I talking about? Well, like I say, there isn't a one-size-fits-all strategy for everybody. One thing that definitely works for me, and it's recommended by health professionals always, is exercise. One of the reasons I incorporate a daily walk into my routine is not only does it have physical benefits, it benefits me mentally as well. So exercise, staying active, has its physical benefits, but also its mental benefits too. Now, of course, you have to do things within your own limitations. You don't want to set yourself unrealistic goals. It's important to have goals, I believe, but make them realistic ones. So little by little, start off, build up, and obviously depression is an illness which is treated quite often with medication, depending on the severity. For me, exercise, although I've taken medication for the condition in the past, for me, exercise is the most important drug. Keeping active, getting out, especially in places like this where you're enjoying nature, have time to think about things. Obviously, I'm slowing down to talk to camera, but a lot of the time I like to think about things. Sometimes I stop, sometimes I do a bit of meditation. Now, meditation can be difficult at first, but once you get used to doing it, I go through the mindfulness part of meditation. It can be very, very helpful and rewarding. Of course, there are many other ways as well. I mean, the important thing is to stay active, okay, and do things that you enjoy doing, not destructive things. Things which are bad for you. Drinking too much, taking other things. They can have the opposite effect. I mean, alcohol. I like a tipple. I like to have a drink now and again. Of course I do. But I also recognise that there's a limit, and alcohol is a depressant. So if you're suffering with depression, the answer or the solution definitely isn't at the bottom of a bottle, and it's certainly not through seeking sanctuary in other questionable substances. Now, another reason for me wanting to speak out about depression so freely and openly is not only because I have a lot of personal experience of the condition, but also I want to try and help create more awareness, to try and reduce the stigma which unfortunately, completely unfairly and wrongly, is often attached to it and other similar conditions. Depression is an illness. Unfortunately, there are people out there, and I've encountered some, including recently, who question that. Now, they're obviously doing that from a point of ignorance, because anybody who has suffered with it will know that it's very real. It causes a lot of pain, and it can be extremely difficult to overcome. But, as I've said, it can be overcome. So, if you encounter any of these ignorant individuals who dismiss it or try and dismiss it, treat their comments with the contempt they deserve. They clearly haven't done their research. They need to go away and educate themselves. You focus on getting better, okay? Because your illness is real, how you're feeling is real, and the condition deserves respect, and it needs treating properly. One thing I discovered about myself during my darkest hour was the amount of inner strength I have to overcome a situation where you're literally seconds away from taking your own life, to bounce back, move forward, rebuild your life, and go on to lead a happy and fulfilling future takes a lot of strength. When you're down there at the bottom, you've hit rock bottom, you don't feel that there's any hope. But believe you me, there is. Okay? Look deep inside yourself, tap into that inner strength, because you've got it. It's in there. You've just got to use it. You've got to tap into it. Of course, you may well need, as I've said, help from medical professionals. It's essential, and I can't emphasize enough how important that is. But you've also got to put the work in yourself, and you can do that. Believe in yourself. You have got it inside you. You can overcome it. So please, be positive. Have confidence in yourself and realize that you're not alone. There's always hope, and there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. Like I say, I hope you found my words encouraging and engaging. If you are going through a difficult time in your life, from the bottom of my heart, I wish you all the happiness in the world and every success in your recovery. Please have faith that you will get better, and know that you're never alone. There are millions of us around the world who've been through what you're going through, and we've managed to overcome it, and so can you. So on that particular note, as in line with the title of the series, it seems that I'm rambling a little bit now, so I think we'll finish it there. If you want to make any comments or get in touch with me about today's topic, I'd love to hear from you. If you have any suggestions about other topics in the future, again, get in touch with me. And in the meantime, look after yourself, and I'll see you on the next RamBull. Take care.